Of course, a membership in your association accounts for more than 8,000 retail outlets. What are you hearing from the ground about how painful it's been during this coronavirus pandemic?
We are experiencing the worst decline on record, and as everybody knows. And actually, we are now talking about survival. And as you know, we have the highest rent on earth in Hong Kong, so which is the major cost for all retailers. So the key is whether we can get sufficient concessions from our landlords. So everybody is striving for survival, and is really talking about whether we can get enough help from everybody, like from landlords, from government, and this is the way that we are heading.
So how big of a cost is rent in Hong Kong? Because we, of course, know how pricey housing and the commercial retail is in the city. So how big of a part of your cost is rent? And could we expect to see any relief on this front?
Well, it depends on which sector you're talking about. But the thing is, normally it could range from like a few percent to over 20% of your turnover. So, and right now, everybody are suffering, and we have almost having no business in some sectors, like talking about luxury and high-end items, that right now the percentage of rental is outrageously high. So it's really hard to survive, and we just have to cut costs. That's the only way.
Annie, I want to throw up a chart for the benefit of our viewers showing just how bad it is, particularly for the segment that you focus on, which is luxury jewellery. And we know that that's also really, the segment that tends to pay the most eye-watering rents for these flagship marquee stores and retail positions. We are seeing watch and jewellery sales in February and March this year falling to the lowest on record. And then if you take a look at the breakdown as well in terms of the segments of retail that are suffering the most, they are also the ones that are being hardest hit. So even if we do see a recovery, it's unlikely that that recovery will be meaningful across the luxury segment, because that sort of discretionary spending is the furthest away from essential that you can get.
Right. Why we are so hard hit, and talking about also fashion and accessories and cosmetic and drugstores, they are also very hard hit. And the reason is that all these categories are heavily relying on tourism. And right now, as everybody knows, that we don't have any tourists coming to Hong Kong. And not just because of the pandemic, but also because of the social unrest in Hong Kong that we have been suffering for over half a year last year. So the thing is, all retailers are actually facing the difficulties of or the need of going to downsize. And as you know, our capacity has been built for millions of tourists coming into Hong Kong. So, and the pandemic is going to last for quite a long time. And even though the pandemic has ended, it still takes a long time for us to recover the traffic from mainland. So it's just too long for us to survive, for us to suffer. So I think downsizing is going to be our focus, and also like people are going online business, and people in Hong Kong are changing their habits to buy online. So but the retail sector in Hong Kong are quite physical, so we need to put more focus on doing online business, and that's why I just see that all the physical shops, it's hard to maintain the scale right now, and we just have to go downsizing.
Annie, are you concerned very quickly that even after the pandemic, you'll see the protests resume?
Well, of course, we hope that Hong Kong will be very stable politically, but nobody knows what is going to happen. But it seems that the protests are going on, just of a smaller scale than before. So, I think retailers in Hong Kong are not so optimistic seeing our future. Of course, I think there must be some other opportunities for us to go for. But talking about going by the old ways of all physical shops and looking for millions of tourists coming to Hong Kong in a month, this kind of situation, I think, is not going to resume. And we just have to find our new way of doing our business.